Hello, hello. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows my sorrow. Am I supposed to start talking before people actually join? I don't know. I usually don't. Feels weird. Yep, still weird. Of course. Okay, that's a good place to start. I hope. Hey! Oh, and the game is not showing up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Woohoo! No, that's not my music. I'm not as that fancy. Totally stealing it. Oops.
Do you love Israel? Israel number one. No politics here. Why you no love Israel?
I thought that was...
Oh, you hate it? You have forgotten to say, Am Israel high? Do you love Israel? You must love Hamas. You are Hamas. Am Israel high? Live from sunny Chicago, Illinois, folks. We are live. We're alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is Saturday, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday Fun Day. Once again, lots of fun to be had today. When's the next basketball stream? I want it so bad. Good morning. We're in Chi City, also known as Chirac, Chicago. Hassan, please tell people Austin is actually live. Okay. He is. Okay. Yeah, he is live. Anyway, I'm also live and alive, and sun's out, guns out. You already know what it is. You already know what's going on. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hassan.
What
Hassan Abi
is...
Piker, in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button, press the start streaming button. It is a sunny 90 degrees here in Chicago, in Chirac, in Chi City. It's DSA convention.
See who gets
day
there
2.
first.
And yeah, we got a lot going on.
Nope.
Come to
He's gonna
Surfest.
make it in. He's gonna make it in. No, he made it in.
Ottoman Sin. Yeah. Live with a wife beater on. Yep. How was it with the jam? I'll talk all about that. Hold on.
Oh no, Fuman is out there
but
by himself.
Folks, personal news-wise, first and foremost, this is part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hassan Abi Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button, so help me God. And it's obviously August 9th, 2025, 10:50 a.m. in Pacific time. It is actually...
Oh, I haven't gotten him a weapon yet.
It is actually
right.
12:50 here in Chi City, in Chirac. And there has been a lot of developments, a lot of updates, a lot of what's going on in my world, in the world of Hassan Abi Piker. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was definitely a fun day. I mean, it was a day of joy. There was a lot going on. We went to the DSA convention, interviewed Rashida Tlaib, one of my political heroes. That was fantastic. And then afterwards, we... Great Lakes is the mecca of labor? Sure. Don't say Chirac. I mean, I'm saying it as a joke, but in any case. So... What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Did you attend all the parties, book readings, pamphlet signings, and book theory clubs that you got invited to yesterday? I attended 0 of those, okay? Not a single one. Not even a little bit. And then there's a good reason for it. But, yeah, had a crazy Uber driver, went to the south side, went to O Block. People were talking about how crazy O Block is. Turns out, not so crazy. Turns out, lots of fun, fantastic experience overall. We'll obviously go through that in a second, but I want to give a big shout out to the Jam Podcast. Those boys are fantastic. You know, they're on the up and up, and I was very excited to promote them to the best of my ability. And yeah, what was that Horner Park you ended up at? I'm not sure what the name of the park was, but basically. What happened is we were supposed to go play basketball after we did the book drive, like after we did the supply, back to school supply drive in Southside Chicago. And then afterwards we were supposed to go ball up. We were supposed to go and like get some gear so that I could play basketball. I mean, I literally brought my ankle bracelet and I brought my patella.
Oh my gosh, come on guys, really?
To go. But the problem is, you know, things in Chicago are a lot further apart than I initially assumed. And the reason for why they're a lot further apart is because traffic. Classic problem with every major American city, Chicago being one of the major American cities. there was a there was a significant problem with the traffic. Of course, you've seen 1/8 of Chicago. I mean, it's pretty good. Yeah, every
Where is he
infrastructure
going?
is car centric, and Chicago is also car centric as well. But basically,
So weird.
yeah, we were doing 20 minutes for 2 blocks, but yeah, skill issue, take the train. I don't know how to do that out here, but in any case, we did this. We went up to the park, but honestly, afterwards, I was just like, all right, I haven't eaten yet. Our battery's running out. We're just gonna rip it. We're gonna pull the rip cord. We ended the broadcast, and then we went out and we got some food. And then afterwards, I went and I shot this podcast, and we shot it for like 3 hours, right? Rich people problems? Sure. Yes. Traffic. Famously only experienced by rich people. Famously. But yeah. Went to the podcast studio, shot a podcast. It ended at like 11. I won't tell you where we ate. They're gatekeeping it, so I'm gonna gatekeep it for them. Okay, but basically, after the pod, I barely made it back to my hotel, and I passed the fuck out. Oh my god, I was so tired. By God, I was tired. So, passed out, woke up this morning, did an interview, and I'm here. This is it. Took a shower. Basically, that's all I've been doing. And this is DSA day 2. There's day 3 tomorrow as well. I won't be here for that. Gotta go back home for my mom's birthday. I'm leaving later tonight. I'm leaving the city and the state later tonight. So we're gonna stream all the way up until basically going to be streaming all the way up until I fly out.
Okay.
Pretty much. So we did day 1, lots of fun. I have a lot of opinions. I have a lot of thoughts. I'm just going to blast off real quick, and we're going to get started on that instantly. Because honestly, it's been fantastic. It's been a fantastic experience so far. Okay, day 2 of
Where's your leader?
Chi-Town. DSA convention day 2. How's the heat and humidity? It's not that bad. It's fine. It's not that crazy. Do you see Jeff Nibber collab with the Palestinian content creator? Yeah. The Palestinian fitness guy in Gaza. Yeah, he's friends with Yusuf and Abed. So Mersharmer did
Yes, Hamas.
No, there was no way to connect
Totally
with him.
Hamas.
And Brandon Johnson is fully booked today, so we're not going to be able to hang out with Brandon Johnson, the mayor, who actually asked to link up. But unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time because things are just moving. Things are moving fast. So all right, day 2 of Chi-Town DSA convention. Day 2, PR. Airdrop aid scheme kills Palestinians.
Of course.
Western condemnations continue as Israel's
Yeah, that's
full
you're really condemning them by
occupation
continuing to
plans
send them military
are
aid.
announced, linking up with
Be like giving your grandma money when she
Big
keeps
Land
falling for internet scams.
and going to Cat Abu Ghazaleg. Event later. Get in now. Yeah, don't want to hear English. Let's hear some more Turkish. Twitch.tv/HassanAbi. Okay, that's all I got. All right. Are you going to market days in Steamworks? I have no idea what those things are. Are those like... I don't know what it is. Well, yeah, this hotel is fancy. They got double cup chairs, which is crazy. Bro, this hotel is fancy, but it's kind of ass too. Like, I ordered fucking 3 cold brews. 3. Because I need it, right? And then they called me back and they were like, we don't have cold brews. I was like, all right, fine, Americano. That's okay. And now, I mean, it's been like an hour. They just didn't bring it. So I guess they forgot about it or something. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Market Days is in Boys Town. It's a gay event with muscle gays. Oh, nice. The guy who made the pussification of video games made a part 2 for that video this week. Nice. Yeah, I know Mo Salah spoke out as well, finally. Holy shit. Wine About It beef is back alive, I see. We'll take a look at it. Hold on. Do you have a blast off meme? Do we have a blast off meme for day 2? Or do we not? No.
No, I just uncrushed and somehow.
You spoke out 2 years ago? I mean,
Okay.
a lot of I think a lot of people with tremendous amounts of influence are
Now my game looks so stretched like this. Great.
they don't do as much as they possibly could in terms of speaking out. That's my assessment. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm harsh. But that's how I feel about it. I have this from the time your stream was fucking up. Wait, there was a... Okay, that's funny. All right, no, I got it. I'm gonna use the bomb lefts one. Okay. Call them again for the coffee law? I know, I should.
Stop.
I should. But yeah, first and foremost, where do we begin? Here, we're blasting off. If Miss Rachel can, anyone can? No, I agree, for sure. I think that, I mean, the crisis is so severe and so imminent and so in front of our eyes that I do think it's like really, I think it's kind of ridiculous that like more people are not more aggressive on this issue. So yeah, any speaking out can be detrimental to the earnings prospects of public figures. So I think any amount of saying something is valid. There isn't a minimum other than stating your position. I mean, I still think it's like crazy that like the most people could do is like every now and then come out and say something, because there's no, I think people with a lot of influence wait, hold on. People with a lot of influence. Wait, what? We link at. Hold on. Okay. People with a lot of influence create or expand on the permission structure to make others feel comfortable speaking out. Do you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about when I say like there are those who could be doing more but don't. Because I never. Oh yeah, we got the ADL Jonathan Greenblatt New York Times interview. I don't know. I guess I wasn't mentioned in it in the interview, so that's good. I was a little worried that like he was gonna put it in print in the New York Times that I was a terrorist. So I'm glad that I don't think he did that. I didn't get a chance to see it. My main op, he's moved on from me. He's moved on to bigger and better things. So I'm glad. My CBC podcast app is out. Oh, nice. Oh wait. Oh shit. I think my coffee is here. Hold up. Bro, look at this. Crazy.
Ooh, hive
People are
shirt.
still
I
saying
need
happy
that.
partner anniversary. Yeah, but and you guys weren't wrong. The cold brew has, or not even cold brew. The ice americano has no ice in it left because I guess they were just like letting it sit out.
Oh my god, what now?
Brother, room service is a scam. They mark it up by so much. I know, but what am I supposed to do? What do you mean? Like, it is what it is, you know? I just go
Come on,
get it
dude.
yourself. Well, I'm live streaming, Chad. Like, yeah, obviously, if I wasn't, I would just go to like a nice cafe or something and then go and get myself a nice cup of Joe. So that's the problem here. Okay. Take us with
What the
you.
hell's going on down
I
here?
can't. Anyway, where was I? So there's a lot to talk about. We're gonna do an IRL portion as well. It's crazy that like people don't fuck with the IRL stuff because I think they just like they miss out on some of the best content because like in a sea of like awfulness. In a sea of awfulness that is happening all around us, I do feel
He
like
stole one of my shit posts and never gave me credit.
what the fuck is happening with this?
He stole one of
Hold
my
on.
shit posts and never gave me credit.
Oh,
for
here.
It. And then he called me stupid on stream.
What was it? Was it that one?
It was that one.
That's a great post. Wait, why did I call you stupid? What did you say?
It was I tagged the one that had Brad Lander's Hamas on it.
Oh.
Watch your commentary.
So thank you. That's awesome. Yeah, I can't post that.
I doubt.
Yeah, that's a great post though.
Thank
You want to take a photo?
Yeah.
All right. Put a Hamas band on Brad Lander. I was like, I can't post that. I got some candid photos. I was creeping around when people were meeting you. Nice to see you out here. Sorry it's so fucking hot and humid this time. No, it's still great. Did you see Hasanabe had Damon Albarn say this? Yeah. Yeah. He was at, fun fact, Damon was at my, Damon's daughter is a massive Hasanabe head. I think she's probably in here. Like, she's in here all the time. But she brought her dad to my Oxford speech. He was there. I met him, and he's a part of this like massive movement of musicians and stuff, including Pink Pantheress as well. She just joined. But all these musicians are doing like a fundraiser event for Gaza. It's coming up. Hamas Pantheress? Yeah. Here's a TikTok you are in. Yeah, I mean, I think like, as I was saying.
This is us at the beginning of the DS.
I think, do I fuck with Pink music? Yes. Are you kidding me? My name is Pink and it's really nice to meet you. Yeah, she's the GOAT. She's awesome. But what I was saying is like, what sort of fundraisers help AIDS being blockaded? No, there's still aid flowing in right now. There's like different methods of getting stuff into the Strip. And there's also like ways to give directly to the Palestinians that are stuck in Gaza as well. So I think like there's numerous methods. Okay. But what I was saying is like, there's a lot of, what the hell is this? There's a lot of fun that happens in these sorts of like live streams. I do know it gets annoying. I know it's like annoying probably for people watching at home when it just like turns into a massive meet and greet, but I'm constantly at odds. I'm constantly conflicted, right? Because on the one hand, I want to give the people that are there what they want, which is, they want to take photos. Like, I get it. It's a DSA convention. So obviously there's going to be a lot of Hasanabi heads there. There's going to be a lot of people, and they're all like delegates and organizers too. So it's not like, these aren't just like random people showing up to places that I'm at, even though whenever random people do show up to places that I'm at, like, I also still feel a sense of obligation that I have to, I have to just like kind of sit there, because how many other times are they going to meet me? It makes sense. It makes sense that, like, I'm in Chicago. These are people coming from all around the country too. They're not just people from Chicago, so
All right, so
on the one hand, you got the Rashida Tlaib interview, which is like
okay.
maximum getting a lot of information out, and then also on the other hand, there's like meet and greets. I still haven't been able to figure out how to like make that process more streamlined and make it faster, make that process faster, but also make it more interesting and entertaining for the people that are at home, especially because, like, these guys, maybe you should host actual meet and greets. Wait, what? That's not going to get people. That's not going to stop people from also wanting to take photos, chatter. TwitchCon is a great example of this, where I do a meet and greet, and then it still doesn't matter. Like, there's still hella people that show up and want to take photos. Plan a time window for pigs. Most people stream snipe anyway. No, I know. There will not be a meet and greet today. I'm going to try to avoid that today to the best of my ability. But yeah, so that's one thing. But then even like after, when we went to Southside, it was fucking awesome. I had so much fun. It was amazing. And it's just like, I feel like there's a lot of people who are just like, oh, you're not giving me the straightforward news. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. And they just like tap out. And if only those people were just like, were to be more open-minded about like variety stuff. But I guess that's just the audience I've cultivated. It is what it is. I'm not complaining about it. I'm gonna keep doing this stuff though, because like, I like it. I enjoy it. I think it's good. I think it's good to go outside. I think it's good to like interact with people. And I think it's good to do stuff outside in general. So I'm gonna keep doing that. I don't give a fuck if people don't like it. And eventually I think more and more people will come for that as well. Did you avoid groups of 4? No, I did not. I was in a group of 4 myself, as a matter of fact. So honestly, one of your better streams in a while. Humanizing black communities and the people in those communities is something we need more of. Yeah. It is kind of funny because like everyone always is talking about how like I don't, there's not enough content creators of color on the broadcast or whatever. I'm not like that was a big point of contention this past week, and it was like I had this already set up a long time ago too. Like I was already working on setting this up a long time ago, which is why all the people chirping.
You wonder why freaking like people hate DEI. Like, you didn't have enough.
But one of the craziest things that
creators
took
of
place
color,
on
like,
the stream,
dude,
I don't know if you guys saw
get
this,
what you
is,
get,
like,
man.
When we
what the hell?
when we were at that block party, there was like there was a group of like little girls that came up, and I was shocked. I always forget that there are like little children that are still watching. And I need to be mindful of that, I think. Like even the guys that I was hanging out with, right? The Jam Pod boys, like they're all like 21 to 25, right? So they started consuming my content and other stuff when they were like 13.
Oof.
Like
feels irresponsible.
They've been watching since they were like 13, so it's like it's just something I got to be mindful of, something I got to remind myself of a lot when I'm doing this kind of stuff, that like there are people watching on the outside that are like 20 years old, or not just 20 years old, sorry, but like much younger than that. Also, yes, beef with the cast is gone. Radicalizing my cat. Thank you for letting me radicalize your cat. You got a good one there. Where is the blast off meme? I can't even find it. Yeah, I'm in CBC's podcast Commotion. I just did that. Did that a while back. One more blast off attempt here. I started
I
watching
know,
when
I
was
know.
15.
It's
All
just
your
the
Zoomer
perception.
fans are clip watchers probably. Yeah.
I know what the intention is, believe me, and I'm all for it. It's just like the whole
Well, yeah,
trans issue.
for
Like,
me,
yeah,
I
I'm all
just
for,
the other
equal
thing, of
rights
course, is that
across
like
the board.
it's a reminder when I see like a lot of young people watching me. It's another reminder that like
But
I mean I take what I do very seriously
it's
in
like
terms of like giving
like they'll
a alternative perspective
the
to people that
the
they
right
never
wing
really frequent,
they love like
they never really see.
poking
So it's a lot
uh
better.
to get a
It's
specific
a lot
response.
better
They're
that they
like,
get
"Oh,
their
why are
news
you
from me than than
like
get into
why do you
like
want to
the
die on this
bigoted
hill?
content,
Like,
I think.
motherfucker, you
So
started it,
that's something I gotta work on as well.
We don't have to-
Something I gotta actively push back against, like with all the Clippers. I still don't know how. I still haven't been able to figure out. I guess like with overwhelming force, we just need.
I'm
to do
actually like
positive clip PR.
I'm of the mind that
uh,
like
to
when
just,
when people
to
submit like
just,
applications and
counterbalance
resumes,
all of the
I don't even think it
negative
should have a
clip
name
PR
on
that
there,
comes from,
to
like,
tell you the truth.
numerous communities that I've gotten.
Because even
numerous
that can
communities that I've, like,
create
beefed with,
create a bias.
you know. You got to do more collab stuff. I fear, like streamer games. Yeah, I do have to do more collab stuff for sure.
But
But
welcome,
yeah.
Burrito. Welcome back.
All right. This was there was a couple funny moments here. This is one of them.
Why is Rebecca not here? What's going on? Don't. If it's personal, don't worry.
Get Rebecca a job.
Okay. Rebecca, get a job.
No, someone give Rebecca a job.
Someone give Rebecca a job right now. Right now.
Thank you for the kind words.
Damn, she broke, huh? She's just airing her out. Rebecca, you're broke. Why is Rebecca not here?
I do it. It's just like we have a lot of travel and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's entirely dependent. Oh
It
my
just
God.
what really sucks is like
The
you have
line just kept growing.
you got the right who
growing
like actively pushes
and
against it.
growing. It was
Like on
crazy.
the
And,
upper levels of
you
income, it's
know,
just like
at a certain point
they
I
just
had to
don't like
break
the
it a little
idea.
bit, especially because like they're all
Like
delegates
they're
and
more about like
supposed to be
income
voting. And like
inequality. They just don't
instead of
want
voting,
people in
they're, like,
general
waiting there
catching up to them
take
in terms of
photos.
wealth. But on the lower levels, you got like just like ignorant, racist people.
You ruined democracy.
And then
I ruined
on the
democratic
left,
process.
you got like
Don't you think
my
as a
brother
white
works at a
person you should be
tattoo
more
shop,
mindful about telling other
and
people's
he's saying there's
prejudices?
a
No.
there's a an artist there. It's trans, and
Thank you for being the woke of the day.
and he's like he gets frustrated because
Mark Maron was on Sam's.
he explained it
Majority
to me.
Report. I actually
Best
hit
I
up
could
Sam even
understand
before he did
is
this
this
knowing
person that he
he's, like,
works
homies
with
Mark, and I was
is
like, yo, Sam, you gotta put in a
gender
good word with
fluid
Mark. I
and
gotta
gets
have him on the stream.
offended if
And he is,
if they're not referred to by
he said he would
the
do it,
pronouns
so,
that they
not Mark. I'm saying
they
Sam
identify
said he
as
would
that
do it,
day. So
I'm
it's
gonna
I don't
ask
know.
him
You
again.
know, I
Another
think he's
politician you've
kind
bagged
of
up.
I think
Yo,
he's been caught in the Rogan sphere for too long. So I think he might be generalizing.
we
But
are
I told him, I
pulling
was like,
Roland's
dude,
king?
that's
Yeah, for
that's a
sure.
freaking workplace issue. That's not
And I
it's not a
know
Democrat
it's never
issue, you
just about the
idiot.
voice,
Like
but ultimately these guys were marks for the right-wing propaganda machine and absorbed by their agenda and spearheaded, what was in their eyes. I talk about in the special this ability to say words they wanted to say, but they used anti-woke to dismantle all progressive policy for everybody. Yeah. So it's partially on them, and I can't separate it. Whether they were willing collaborators or just grifting for themselves. I mean, it's like fuck them. We don't have to break it all.
Mark Maron looks like Sam if he was a chain smoker. Okay, he doesn't smoke no more. He's a zinner. He's a zinfidel, just like your boy. I'm neighbors with Mark's producer. DM me and I'll put you in touch. DM you. Just do it. I'll put the word out right there.
yeah, I definitely agree. Like just don't be a douche. Like
do a kebab giveaway. Who the hell is Mark Maron? Suddenly he's everywhere. Mark Maron is the GOAT, man. He's the
Yeah.
OG comedy podcast.
But that's just see that's like it's just people in general. Like
That's so funny.
I was telling him like I was like honestly even if that
Hot Topic
person
is,
wasn't
remember,
trans,
like, I
they would
used to
still
start
be an annoying
my
fuck.
stream by
You know,
saying,
like
what the fuck, buddy? What the fuck,
that
buddy?
person
Like,
would
I used
still
to do
be
that.
an annoying
It's kinda
shithead,
cringe, but,
whether
you know,
that
you
person was
gotta-
trans
you
or
gotta
not.
kill
Like
the side of you that cringes rather than
that's
the
my
side
opinion.
that makes the cringe. You know what I mean? I think you need more clippable moments, very condensed takes, and pop-off moments. You oftentimes lower down, but use very intellectual language, make the hate clips more digestible.
Yay, it worked.
Okay.
I was working on my chat.
It is funny. They do look very similar to one another. I do find that funny. Those are my.
I
two
figured out how
Jewish
to
punks.
block the stupid Streamboo advertisements. Those were annoying.
My first impression of him was bad because of his appearance on the Bo Burnham episode thing. I mean, he's a serial complainer. Like, Mark is he's like a fine wine. You know, you got to let him sit a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let him decant.
It's just that like
It's just
what infuriates me is the
that's how it works.
right wing propaganda.
You just
They
gotta let
zero
him
in
sit a
on
little
that and they
bit, and then
focus.
you'll
Like
get used
that's
to
the
his
reason
takes,
that your
and
life
you'll
sucks
appreciate
is
it. You'll be
is
more
because you have to deal with
appreciative
all
of
these
his
annoying
takes. Inside of the
trans
tool
people like
communities
in
the
your
greater Boston area,
you know
true.
like
Rage gets baited.
winning high
Ray
school
gets
swim
baited
meets
by
and
Hassan
using
Chadwick
your
and Rage
bathrooms.
baited
Like
by Hassan. What is
they
this?
they
Let's
pick
take
up
a
on
look.
it's just grievance peddling. That's it.
The Tara Yummy. Tara
How's
was
the
like,
audio?
I can't believe I got
It's
you
just
out of the
distracting.
house.
Like
I was
you know
like,
how about
"Oh,
we
it's
talk
so
about like
cute."
the economic
I can't
problems,
believe it's like,
you know, and how we can resolve them. But they don't want to talk about that because then people will realize exactly what was in that stupid big booty cheeks bill they passed recently.
Okay. Oh, what? He got jealous that I talked to Tara? Like, what the fudge was this?
Just saying.
I know.
These are iconic,
I
right?
know.
Like,
Just saying.
On my bag, I've got a I love Tara Yummy sticker.
I
I
do.
love Tara Yummy lighters.
I have
There were
one too.
condoms. There was a whole lot.
Who asked? Pipe down, Piker.
Stuff that's just very Tara.
What was I working on? Okay,
Bruh.
I got a lot more freaking
I still
stuff.
have it. I'm the real Tara Yummy head. It's not a big deal. Real ones know. The real ones know.
Maybe they
Okay?
just want to fuck trans people. Yeah, what was it during the I think it was the RNC last election cycle. The Grinder app crashed because of
Look.
how much use it was
What?
getting.
Okay.
Like, wow, that's
J
odd.
Puff 94 said you and Ray
It could have been
are both
manufactured,
so
but
old caught.
still.
Oh my god.
And it's ridiculous how much
That's
more
crazy.
common
I didn't even realize
it is
that.
to
She's
see
getting rage baited by a chatter.
Republican
I'm supposed to be rage baited
candidates
by,
being
and I
caught
just
for
kinda let that pass by.
ha!
That's crazy.
Someone tried to spam.
Old clip
Sucker!
from another streamer's
Yeah,
chat.
being caught for like,
It's crazy.
you know, like cheating on their spouses or
Oh,
hooking up with gay
man.
dudes or
This is that
pedophilia.
sniped from the past. That's crazy.
Yeah, instigators spotted. Instigators everywhere. Real ones know her ancestors were Ottoman, so that makes her Turkish Tara. True. True. Pat Bev finds out what Karl Malone did on his own pod. That's crazy. Did you see Andrew Cuomo cringe posting? I did. I did see that. I think one of the pod jobs
Pedophiles
said it
of a
best.
feather
He's
stick
like,
together.
Andrew Cuomo found out that like all all attention is good attention. Like even bad PR is still PR. You know?
Wait, did it ban your
What is
message?
this? RIP branding connection? What the hell is this? What the
No,
hell?
no, okay.
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Yeah,
was another one of the
I'm
stupid Streamboo
one
advertisements.
degree removed from Brandon by a lot, to be fair.
Hassan could be a good
I
political
have a
voice, but
couple
he's just
different
Nepo
1
crybaby.
degrees from Brandon.
You see, I don't like the whole
It was
Nepo
positive
thing
PR, you don't need
doesn't
political
stick with
voice
me
when
because I think
you're
that's a
demonizing funny
terrible
clips. Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a terrible perspective because it's like should
Is it
I
already covered Twitch running ice
should I be
ads?
criticized
And the petition
for
running ads? Like, wait, Twitch is running ice
promoting
ads?
food banks right
Gross.
after I eat dinner?
What the hell?
You know?
Bro,
Like,
is
so what if he's
happening?
rich?
I swear to God. Amazon,
He's still
Twitch,
promoting
basically
parties that would
everybody at
tax
this
him
point
more,
is just
where they
like,
get to
"Yup,
get elected.
we're in
So
it." Full tilt, you know?
that's how I see it. Like
That's
I don't
gross.
care. Like he's
How did
succeeding
you
in the
think it'll be
system.
land at Pritzker?
I think that any one of
Seems
us
pretty
would
good. YouTube's been spamming IO's
would be willing
ads.
to go for
Chief
that.
Keef wants to collab. I wish. Shut up. I wish that was the case.
And I think it's a
I
good
would-
thing
well, first of all,
when
he's
you
not even
have
here. I think
wealthy
he's in
people that are
LA,
like, yeah,
so
freaking tax me more, you know?
he used to be
Like,
here.
because in order for
back in the day.
movements to succeed, you have to like
Hang out
pull
with
people
Pritzker?
from
Yeah, I don't think Pritzker
uh,
is aching to hang out
various
with me
other groups.
anytime soon.
It
But
can't
yeah,
just
let's look at
be
Andrew Cuomo's
the
cringe
the
post
ones
first.
that are directly
Okay.
affected by it.
In
That's like
case you forgot, I'm Andrew
there's a
Cuomo, son of Mario,
there's a political
grandson of
scientist. Her
Andrea.
name's Erica
Welcome
Chenoweth,
to the heavyweight
and she
bout
talks
at
about she did a lot of studies on
Zoran This is a
like
two-man
nonviolent
race.
resistance
You
movements,
look tired
and
already. It's just the
in order
second
for
round.
resistance movements, regardless of what
Someone
they're
said,
resisting,
"I
to
don't necessarily
succeed,
like you, but this does
there
go
has to
hard.
be
Appreciate that, Mr.
there has
President.
to be
Your father
collaborators
is a
that
legend.
are
Zoomers and probably
that
most
work with
millennials
the
don't
movement
know
that are
he was a
inside the
special
system.
person.
Like that's one of the things that
It's just like, oh God, BLD exposed
that has
Pallywood.
to
Of course,
like
ad from fucking Israel.
has to happen to some
Sir, this
degree.
is at Wendy's. I'd like fries with that.
So when rich people are out here saying, "Yeah, freaking tax me more,"
I
like I'll vote
genuinely
for
think
that.
these responses
That's
are bots.
it's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
don't know where this
It
is-
doesn't
I
feel
don't know where this
hypocritical
is
to me.
coming from, but this is like
I
a new,
criticize the fact he's a crime.
yeah,
Oh,
Andrew Cuomo hired some
what do you mean never getting
fucking
corrected? He's
millennials
been
and
banned so
Zoomers
many
in
times.
his,
Community helps his
social
attitude.
media team to just like
Oh, okay.
start
You're talking about like
dumb shit like this, I guess.
the complainy stuff.
Felix says, "Guess what, Zoran? I
You don't
just
you don't
have a
see it
dad.
as like
I also have at least one grandpa.
satirical
That's right.
sarcasm, because
I
that's how
come
I
from a
interpret it.
family. You know anything about those?
You know, like
Hooray,
how many
he
times
was
have you
running to
seen
me
a
before around 5:30 p.m. when my brain
comedian
stops working and my staff shows
that's
me
just
into a
the
panic room.
whole shtick is just like complaining
he's
about stuff.
impression
It's not like
farming.
funny stories or anything like that. And I honestly I think that's just like part of his character. Because if you see him interacting with like when he's giving interviews,
Hassan is a grifter, he's
um,
gonna lead his fans to ruin,
he
and
doesn't
a lot of
act that
people
way at all.
discredit how effective you are.
So
Trump PSL became a Marxist-Leninist
when
because
he
of the guideline.
you know exhibits those
Some of that is
qualities,
just like people
I
who are crazy.
I just don't take it serious.
Others
But I mean
are,
if it's undering to listen to, I
think
understand
other
because
people
you know to each his
are,
own.
you know, genuinely
I get it.
doing it for a sinister purpose.
Not
because
for
they just
everyone.
have,
I
like,
completely understand.
you know, they are ideologically opposed to my worldview.
I was actually telling
And,
my
that's all
wife
it
the other day.
is.
I was like, you know, he's in his
Yeah,
like
but
early
Cuomo is
mid 30s or
definitely
something.
Brandonizing. He
But
is
based on
sundowning,
his
for
the
sure.
way he
That's
acts,
not
you
a
would think
joke.
he's in his
Like,
like early
I have noticed
20s.
this as well. There is a big
But he's actually like
Brandonization
he's
initiative
really
taking
knowledgeable
place. Okay.
about events, like stats, events,
That's
stuff like that.
That's what's taking place for sure.
It's
Tuesday
I think the
kick
way
protest
he
in Atlanta
acts
for
is
the federal
deceiving.
ruling, just in case you want to
You
plan
know?
for that. Yeah, I'd pull up to that. They mentioned Hassan in the Jakarta method. No, dude, what?
What is?
I wasn't even.
Why are these guys
when
breaking down my
Vincent
door?
Bevins
Like,
wrote
dude, I'll
that
let you
book,
in, man.
I wasn't even a person.
the
Like,
hell?
I wasn't even like a known person in the online.
Damn.
I never see anything.
Oh,
in
weirdos!
the in the online arena.
Just don't steal from me.
Some of it is ego wanting to outgrow you. That for sure is a part of it too.
His actual good
Wait,
takes
I'm
are
in
diminish. Oh,
PSL
I
because
gotcha.
Mike
The
is
whole
super close
perception
and
issue,
get
yeah.
active. Thank you for that as well. Yeah.
But like, honestly,
My
the
favorite
people that are
Cuomo
going
moment-
to
Okay, that's from Cumtown. Check out early
the
highlights
people
of
that are
Cuomo's
like
New York Times
legitimately going to
interview.
hate on him
Hopefully they rake him
and
with
dedicate
bullshit,
like
right?
whole YouTube channels
Yeah,
to
we'll start off
nothing but
with
like bitching
my
about him.
op.
Those
My
kind of
op,
people, they would do the same thing
Jonathan,
regardless of the way he acted,
was
just
on a
because
New
of
York
what he
Times
stands
interview.
for.
Some
You know,
people warned me about this ahead of time. I don't even know how you guys knew that was coming. But
it's
if
like
you recall, I talked about it briefly.
you know, like I was
but,
talking about that
I was definitely a little
that
bit
trans
worried
person my brother
that
works with. Even if that
the
person
New York
wasn't
Times
trans, they'd
interview
still
with,
be
Jonathan
you know
Greenblatt, he
miserable
was just gonna be like,
jackass
"Why are you
to
guys
deal with.
platforming Hassan?
I don't
He's
think
the
trans has
worst."
anything to do with it.
Seemingly
So
he
I think
doesn't- he
the
doesn't do that 'cause I haven't
whole
seen anyone
perception
mention
thing,
it. I haven't
just because of
actually
what he
seen
stands
most
for,
of the
would
quotes,
result
but
in
they're
a
not even
ridiculous
like
amount of
raking
criticism
over the
anyway.
coals per se. I just need you to understand,
Like he could be in a suit and
the
tie
criticism that is launched
and in the most
towards
professional
Jonathan
way
Greenblatt in this moment
talk about
is
how,
actually
you know,
far
ridiculous it
less
is that
than what he deserves.
that we're still sending, you know, money and weapons to fund a genocide.
And this is just a way
And the
to
same people would
try
call him
and
anti-Semitic, you know?
rehabilitate his image, I think, because he is still supposed to be like the most esteemed anti-Semitism combating institution in the country, and because he's dropped the ball so spectacularly in broad daylight, in real
But,
time, in a
I
way
mean,
that like
opinions are like
even
assholes.
like liberal Zionists are frustrated.
Everyone has one
with,
and they usually stink. So.
that he has to like
What do I know?
go back and bring a veneer of credibility to the ADL as an institution. And this is the only
At the
way
end
he
of the
can
day,
do
it just all
this.
comes down to, you know, like
he's gonna
having the
he's gonna have to
capability
pay the
of
piper,
showing like a
basically, where
modicum
he
of
will,
respect
take it on
towards
the
another's
chin
opinion.
a little bit, but ultimately this is to rehabilitate not only his image but the image of the ADL as well.
As long as I'd
so
say,
that they can be
let
more
me
effective
rephrase
in,
that.
cynical smears of anti-Semitism.
There are some opinions I
against
will not
anti-Zionists
respect.
like
You know,
myself and many
racist
others,
opinions.
because they're clearly way more predisposed
You
with
know, blatantly
combating
bigoted
anti-Zionist
opinions,
sentiment,
fascistic
anti-Israel
opinions.
sentiment
Sorry,
than they
I'm not
are
about that.
like, actual
I will not
anti-Semitism.
respect those, so I should
So-
rephrase. I have my limits.
Let's take a look.
Just committed to saying we will do what we can to prevent Jewish self-determination in their homeland. Anti-Zionism is an ideology of nihilism, Lulu, which would literally seek to not just delegitimize, but eliminate the Jewish state.
Oh, shut up, you
So
freaking
you
idiot.
have equated anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism.
It is.
It's
and I will
not.
say that
Freaking
in
idiot.
preparation for this conversation, I talked to a lot of different people, and one of the
They're still
things
trying to
I
keep
heard,
these
is
the
that
religion tied to the government of Israel. Like,
anti-Zionism for them
they're
is
so
a desire
desperate.
to have the rights of
You know, instead of
Palestinians be
focusing
equal
on
to the
their
rights of
actions,
Jews
they're
in
focusing
Israel.
on
Yes.
a philosophical fallacy.
Wow, okay, that's not bad. From the New York Times, let's see where this goes. Great.
Oh crap.
Anti-Zionism takes many different forms, but
I didn't hear
first
what she
and
asked.
foremost, it is about the humanity of Palestinians, okay? Something that conversations like the Jewish
state, and that's very problematic.
Oh, Jonathan
So
Greenblatt.
you have equated anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism.
It is.
And I will say that in preparation for this conversation, I talked to a lot of
The
different
Apartheid
people.
Defense League.
And one of the things I heard is that anti-Zionism for them is a desire to have the rights of Palestinians be equal to the rights of Jews in Israel.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Cook.
that's what it is.
Wow, okay, that's not bad. From the New York Times, let's see where this
Facts
goes.
over feelings.
Great.
Race exists. Why
Anti-Zionism
people are
takes
starting.
many
Oh my
different
god.
forms, but first and
See,
foremost,
hold
it is
on. Let
about
me
the
pause this.
humanity of Palestinians. Okay.
I got one person that pops in here. One was it chatter, watcher, viewer, follower? I don't know. Was asking me like, why don't you ever show you know, right wing content, or do you ever show right wing? It's like, no, I don't need to. Like, they have a big enough platform. Like, they have like 9 of the top 10 Spotify podcasts are right leaning. Like, with one of them is like Pod Save America. Or sorry, 2, because you got Midas Touch and Pod Save. So 2 of the top 10 are left. Like, YouTube. It'll send you down a right wing rabbit hole like so quickly. Like TikTok, Manosphere, like it. Why? I'll watch it when I'm not on here to see what garbage Fox News is spewing, and then that's about the extent of it. Oh my god, like this is so infuriating. It's cherry picking, you know? Like this whole vaccine problem is just because one doctor did like a study of like 12 kids like that he cherry picked, like, and that's what they use. And it just started this whole anti-vax. Man, it's so frustrating. It's like I feel like people want to believe that there's like there's all these conspiracies that are against them, holding them back, causing them the suffering that they're feeling in their lives. Because it just doesn't seem, I don't know, maybe it just doesn't seem logical that there could be so many issues in the world and in their lives, and what's causing it is simply wealthy people are trying to screw us over. But they're like, no, it can't be that simple. There's got to be a bigger thing at play here. It's critical race theory. They're trying to replace this DEI, great replacement theory. They're trying to replace us. Like, dude, come on, man.
Something that conversations like the Jewish state, like whenever you talk about Israel as the Jewish state or a Jewish ethno-state, you're literally dehumanizing the Palestinians that live there in real time, and you're basically engaging in incredibly reactionary,
Man, these guys
incredibly
keep getting
racist
attacked.
conversations that are angled as though these are genuine concerns of Jewish safety. Okay? That's what this is. It's
Oh, this
just
guy could hit. Damn.
because of the ADL and many other fake Jewish advocacy groups that are simply invested in advocacy for Israel, but masquerade as Jewish advocacy groups. They've been able to so successfully change this conversation. They've been able to so successfully couch incredibly racist, agitative propaganda as though this is a serious, a serious fear that Jewish people have.
The worst was that he corrected me in one of my points with actual data, and I actually conceded the point. Woo! Awoke said conservative has a point, and then proceeded to tell me that he did not cherry pick. And the white people are smarter thing happened. Oh my
God. One person, one vote, equal representation for all Palestinians, all non-Jews living in the occupied territories. A lot of people, even liberal Zionists, would be like, "Well,
and so
if they had,
one of
the
the
right to vote," which is
one of the most difficult aspects of trying to discuss, topics with conspiracy theorists is they have I'm sure you've heard of the term the Gish Gallop. It's they just throw so much crap that there's no possible way that you can defend every single topic that they go through, every single point that they make. So it's just like they just throw all this crap at you, and it doesn't give you really enough time to be able to think things through. So if you're just reflexively responding as quickly as you can, you might actually, even though at that moment it might have made a good point, if you had actually been given some time to do some critical thinking and some research on the subject, be like, well, no, that's not true. So Gamer Jam, what's up? Good evening. Please don't be a bot. Please follow. Appreciate it. Job hunting. Gotta deal with the whole emotional salary. Emotional salary? You get paid in emotions? You gotta explain that.
literally the same thing that people said about black people in the Jim Crow South. Like, oh, we can't give black people the right to vote because they'll just fucking kill all of us. And it's like, dog, how can we, on the one hand, look at these quote unquote civil rights organizations like the ADL making this kind of like incredibly racist argument while simultaneously having to like listen to them as like serious arbiters of what is and isn't acceptable speech in public. Okay? It's so crazy.
And the Palestinian territories. The idea of sort of, I guess, the one state solution.
Oh, well, I think I can pay for bills and groceries.
Is that definition of
and furlings, like, are you for real?
Well, look, if you believe
was that two separate
Jewish people
and feelings
right to self-determination.
No, I didn't understand your previous statement. The whole emotional salary. Like, I don't understand what you mean by emotional salary. I was trying to be funny.
Brother. Bro dingus. Jews live all around the fucking world. That's why, even as an ethno-religion, okay?
Yeah, look, I like that science. I take their points as if it were actual theories, like the flat earth, and debate them as if they were peers because it's about respect until they throw like 85. Yeah, it's... And at some point, it's like, this is... This is where the whole flat earther thing, you know, I'll be like, I'm not going to get angry at their point of view because it legitimately doesn't affect anyone, you know? Be like, all right, sure, you know, you do you, man. uh, sure. You know, that kind of stuff, I can be like, all right, I can look past. But once once they start going into this whole like, you know, like, was it Democrats are drinking children's blood to stay young in the bottom of like a pizza shop or in the basement of a pizza shop? I'm like, dude, come on, man. Also, my landlord doesn't accept. You got some fat fingers. Like I see furlings and I'm like, oh wait a second, that's got to be feelings. I'm picturing like some little gremlin-looking creature. I'm thinking that's a furling, like a Pokemon or something. If you try tax evasion, it's really good. Yeah, ask to be paid in cash. Like, I'm not gonna debate somebody if they're like, yeah, we need an authoritarian leader. We need to kick out all the brown people. I'm like, I'm not even gonna entertain it. Like, dude, you're a fascist. Like, the fuck out of my face. Like, there's no convincing that person to come back from that far. If they just have like landlords are assholes. It's true. You know, I was a landlord for like 6 years. I purchased a house when I first, like, within the first couple years of me being in the military. But then we moved, so I had to rent it out while I was elsewhere. But I will say this: I never I never raised my rent based on the the housing prices. The only time, uh, like, I didn't raise it based on the value of the home. It was what would happen is if my property tax were to go up, uh, once it got to within like $50 of what I was charging them, I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna have to, you know, bump up the rent like $50, you know, starting next month, and they were cool with it. But like, it was uh, it was like the cheapest rent. I was looking at all the other rental properties in the area. Uh, it was the cheapest by like $250 in that neighborhood. Like I couldn't do it. It just felt like so douchey. Like why am I gonna bump up my profit by an additional 300 bucks? Like we'll just keep it somewhere around 50 to 100. That's fine.
It's unique in that regard, right? Because most people are they just have an ethnicity and then they have a religion. Judaism is an ethno-religion, okay? But the reason why there are
Fraud. Yeah, you should
Jews
start a meme
from
coin.
all different places on the
Although
planet
I think it
is
would help
because
if you
there
had
are
like
just Jewish people
a lot of
that come from
religious
different
cult followers.
sub-ethnic backgrounds, like subgroups. There are Arab Jews, there are Spanish Jews, there's Western European Jews and Eastern European Jews. You know? Like you can't just say like self-determination for Jews for the Jewish homeland when it's a project that requires the ethnic
Yeah, if you can get
cleansing and
into a union,
displacement of the
they're pretty
indigenous
legit. I had a
population
union
there.
job for about 5 years
And on top of that, it's
until
I
we
mean, yeah, you got Ethiopian Jews, you got Jews
freaking
in
voted
Uganda,
ourselves
bro. You
out
got
of
Chinese
existence.
Jews, Jews everywhere, you know?
That was
And it's just like, oh, there's just
so
this
stupid.
one area that they can all go to and congregate, and it requires that area requires it to be like a Jewish ethno state, okay? A Jewish ethno state. Then all of a sudden, you're basically doing you're doing
The heck?
Oh.
Oh, that wasn't me.
What the hell?
Paying minimum wage
Little
according
F.
to interest rate. No, let's
That
give
was
more money to
quick.
the rich,
That was
because why
quick.
not?
That was quick. We're back.
So,
We're back.
like,
I don't know what happened, but we're back.
you know,
It's not a big deal, right?
I am. It's
was
crazy
just-
because like I'm not against capitalism. I'm not against the idea of making a profit. What I think
What the
is the
What the hell? What the hell?
is the problem. Increasing profits
Yeah.
is not a
Spam
bad
twos in the
thing
chat
if
you
you are
guys
increasing your
wanna know
sales.
in a test. Spam
But
twos in the chat.
when you have you know, publicly traded companies
Okay,
that
there's a couple
require an
seconds.
increase
There's a
in
couple
profit
seconds. It's
margins,
fine. It's not the end of
that's
the
the
world. Okay.
problem. When they're like, oh, we had 10%
It's not the end of the
profits,
world. It's not the end
we
of
need
the
to get to
world. All right.
15. In order to do that, we're going to have to, you know,
Ghost
lay
of
off
Spectrum
like
coming back
200,
behind you.
200 people.
Yeah, there's a couple seconds of delay.
Like,
It's fine.
profits aren't the problem. It's profit margins.
What is this? A study conducted at the University of Miami found that they're doing studies on Twitch
Like
raids.
the
That's crazy.
stock buybacks,
Detrimental impact on community
they need
engagement,
those need to go
eradication of
away.
rude chatters cause existing community to disengage from the conversation. Damn.
I think they used to be illegal. It used to be considered insider trading. But I think it was Reagan that removed the limitations on that. I think. You can fact check me. I don't feel like doing it myself.
Believe my definition of Zionism, which is really not my definition, it's widely accepted. It's peculiar to me how anti-Zionism isn't the opposite of that. How people choose to interpret it.
Bro, you can't just say it's like Jewish self-determination. It's like saying white self-determination. Okay?
Oh my
There's
God,
Jews
another freaking
everywhere,
group
just
of
like there's
douchebags attacking me?
white people everywhere.
See, why don't
okay?
you buy houses? Yeah.
I don't get it. Like, I just want
Dude,
white self-determination.
my-
Why can't I do a homeland for whites?
I own a home here in Texas,
Okay.
and
I don't get it. Everybody else is a
between
homeland.
the
Why
year
can't we have
of
a homeland for whites?
between
same
2022 and 2024,
Like,
my
regardless
mortgage
of the
went up
history of marginalization,
$900,
pogroms,
my
and
payment,
even
because
the
of my escrow,
Holocaust
because
that Jews have withstood
because of the
historically.
property tax increase.
Jews in Israel
Like, I am like,
are the dominant group.
I'm barely
Like,
hanging on.
It is the supremacist group in Israel. So when you make this argument,
Like when I'm in
it's no
school,
different
I'm good because the GI
than
Bill gives me
a majority
a
white
housing
country
stipend.
talking
But during the summer, I'm like a personal salesman trying to get internships and stuff like that, paid internships, and even the paid internships are only giving me like $600 a month. You know what I mean? But I do have my luckily, I'm lucky. I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm not. I got my VA disability. My wife is working. So we're like during the summer, kind of sucks, but during school time, I got the housing stipend, and we're good. But it's gone up so much in the last couple years. Like I don't understand how anyone like straight out of high school has any chance of owning a home. Because if you want a significant down payment so that your monthly payments aren't absurd, you want somewhere between like 10 to 15% of the value of the home at least. So you're trying to say like you have to save up like an entry-level job straight out of college. You already have, you know, anywhere between 50 to 150,000, even up to, you know, upwards of $500,000 in debt, depending on your, like maybe you went to medical or law school or something. And now on top of that, an entry-level job, like just getting into the career, and now you have to come up with $30,000 for a down payment just so your monthly payments aren't, oh. Yeah, I think I'd love to go into like my kids' high school and have like a just get like all the kids into the auditorium and just play a video and teach them how to block their parents from watching Fox News. That would be phenomenal. Put on the children the child lock, not tell them the code. Yeah, there would still be a lot of right-wing propaganda out there, but yeah, if getting rid of Fox News would be a drastic improvement in our environment. And I'm even willing to say to a lesser extent, you know, CNN and MSNBC, although they're they're not blatantly sadistic, although they are they blindly follow corporate interests. You know what I mean? So I guess lesser of two evils.
About how we got to get rid of the non-whites, and that shit's happening right now in the United States of America. That's like a real point of conversation at this very moment.
Okay, what are my freaking farmers doing?
We have to combat here in the United States of America. Okay, and that's a real thing that has happened.
Why are you not farming, you jagaloon?
Like Rhodesia, okay? Other countries have historically done this exact same argument, right?
Who is this
they
guy
don't
attacking?
Obviously
Oh, he's shooting.
exist
Okay.
anymore.
I need more people shooting.
But that is the
it's about to be chaos.
And I hate that, like, we have to entertain this. Like, I hate that, like, woke institutions or
it's crazy how like the
quote unquote progressive
the head of the Anti-Defamation League
very clearly supremacist
is like blatantly defamatory towards anyone that criticizes the Israeli government.
Ideology.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
That kind of language here in the United States of America is fascist. We try to actively combat this language, the permission structure basically expanding so that this kind of language is like appropriate to use in broad daylight. Unfortunately, in spite of people's pushback, it still doesn't matter. You know, it's still popping off, especially in places like Twitter, right? And
I would have been he mentioned Twitter. I would have been streaming earlier today, but I was like on a
civil rights organization in air quotes.
It was like a
saying this kind of stuff.
It's like an hour and a half just
it's crazy.
Twitter rampage.
Embellish it.
Like if you look up I go by the same name on Twitter.
The reality is
you'll be able to see like there was like an hour and a half span of me just trashing whoever I was angry at in that moment. I was like, ugh, this is cancerous. So I had to put it down.
One ethnicity to counter the Palestinians, yet they are racist to each other. What? Yeah, I know. What do you mean? I am oversimplifying it because I'm trying to explain it to people. What? He's noticeably avoiding discussion of self-determination of the Palestinian people or how the self-determination of the Jewish people insists on the suppression.
Hey Brito, are you the one that installed Kenshi after watching me play it for like 20 minutes? Was that you or is that someone else?
Suppressing the self-determination of Palestinians, allowing the Palestinians to have sovereignty. That's what it is. The entire Israeli project revolves around this. The entire Zionist project revolves around this.
And it was pretty simple.
I think the challenge is...
The hell? Someone got through?
If someone...
Under modern international law and structures, all nations have a right to self-determination. That is, they have the right to govern themselves. They do not have the right to displace others to achieve it. Yeah. Except, this has been a problem from the start because this original movement was around Palestinians and their self-determination outside of, existing under the rule of colonial powers, whether it be the Ottoman Empire or whether it be the British, right? But at that same time, once the British Empire took over British-mandated Palestine, they basically engaged in a settler colonial operation by sending as many Jewish people to this area as they possibly could. This is Zionism. This is how Zionism started. And they did that for a deliberate purpose, to create a settler colony that could be controlled and maintained in this resource-rich region. Right? That's it. No, it didn't start before that. This is post-Balfour Declaration. No, it didn't start before that. Before that, under the Ottoman Empire, there was like 2% of the Palestinian population was Jewish, and they just lived it. They lived there alongside the Muslims and Christians as equal citizens under the banner of the Ottoman Empire. So that's not Wait, is it effing again? What? Zionism was a thing before British mandated Palestine. The British didn't start it. No, Zionism as an ideology had no fucking motion before the Balfour Declaration. Okay? Theodore Herzl went to the Ottoman Empire and asked to get the land known as Palestine at the time, and the Ottoman Empire refused. They said, fuck no, that's not going to happen. So you're wrong about that. Pre-Balfour Declaration and pre-Christian evangelical Zionism, this movement did not have any fucking weight to it whatsoever. And in spite of the idiots bring up jizya to say they weren't equal, yeah, I know. That's irrelevant. So basically, even before the Nakba, okay, while there was periods of struggle and revolts and riots against like the settler colonial occupation that was taking place, ultimately there were still a fuck ton of Jews that were living there that, you know, lived in villages side by side with Palestinians living there, okay, with the Muslims and Christians that were living there. So the notion that this was always like an incredibly violent seizure of land is somewhat false, which is ironic because like a lot of Zionists actually use that as a counterexample to be like, well, this was peaceful, like we bought the land, blah blah blah, all this stuff. Like there's truth to that. There is truth to that. Okay. As a matter of fact, that peaceful relationship was utilized under Plan Dalit during the Nakba for a bunch of Arab villages, a bunch of Palestinian villages that weren't actually aware of the planned ethnic cleansing operations that were about to take place. You didn't blast off? No, I did. I did earlier. I've just fallen off chatter. Anyway. Here it is. It's pure racism to think that Jerusalem, the capital of the Sikh world, would not be multicultural as New York City and therefore the rest of Palestine as well. Oh no, for sure. Yeah, only 2 viewers. There were literally just Jewish.
Oh man, I really got to stick with this game longer. This is about the time where I start losing track of everything that's going on.
Things. Yeah, no, for sure. Zionism existed before the
and then I'll shift to another game without actually making much progress in this world.
Unanimously to condemn Zionism as an ideology because they saw the writing on the wall. Yeah, no, they're like Zionism as a substitute, as like almost like a secular national religion, is a relatively new phenomena in the 3,000 years of Jewish history. It's so new. It, like even in its inception, it wasn't as poppin'. It did not, like, most Jews did not fuck with that. As a matter of fact, ironically enough, most Jews still don't technically fuck with it in the sense that they just live in America. You know, they might, like, defend Israel every now and then, but ultimately, like, they're, you know, that's social conditioning and whatnot, but, like, clearly they're not abiding by the national project, because if they were, they would live in Israel, but they don't live in Israel. They live here. Because they're American. They're American Jews, you know? They're New York Jews, they're Florida Jews, they're American. That's why I don't even like the language of diaspora in general. Because like after a certain point, if you have your roots set here in the United States of America for so many goddamn generations, like you're fucking American, you know? What do you mean? Israel loves Israel defenders and Zionists love using that language to be like, these are diaspora Jews, like as though they're just like separated from their fucking homeland of Israel. Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. This dude has been living in America for longer than Israel has even fucking existed. Okay? The fuck do you mean? Like, what do you mean? There's motherfuckers who have their roots here for
Okay, so I need one more
for
farmer.
a lot longer than Israel
And I need another
existed.
cook.
Zionism
That's what I
existed
need.
along the same time as a lot of other Jewish forms of self-governance.
That's what I was
We
working
had
on.
leftist Bundism. At the same time, it was competing with a ton of other ideologies.
Yep,
It was never
1,
inherently going
2,
to succeed.
3, 4.
It did so because of external factors like Balfour, and then of course,
And
obviously,
someone to
supercharged
make my
after the
food.
Holocaust,
Okay.
too. Like those are the two major factors that played
Damn,
a
I
role.
only got
I
2
think
turrets.
the Holocaust probably played the most consequential factor, because then there were plenty of Jews that were genuinely considered stateless and had withstood incredible violence at that point. So that's it. After that point, it was over.
Oh, he doesn't have.
Defines
healing thing.
their
Okay.
view of anti-Zionism in a way that allows for Jews to exist in a state of Israel, but that grants Palestinians rights. But you're seeing that as anti-Semitic. You know, people don't feel like they have the space to have a different view without being tagged with something that, as we have already established, is pretty serious.
Well, let's look, in fairness,
We
I can
cannot.
appreciate that for some people, this idea is an abstraction, right? Oh, anti-Zionism, it means such and such to me. I get that. But let me tell you what anti-Zionism doesn't mean to me.
Dude, you know what's funny? He literally goes, here's what Zionism means to me, which is basically like something completely devoid of like the actual tangible impact of Zionism, which is the extermination, or at least like bare minimum ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement of Palestinians. Okay, a refusal for the recognition of Palestinian humanity, Palestinian sovereignty, okay, Palestinian self-determination. But instead, he turns around and goes, and this is what I believe when someone says they're anti-Zionist. It's like, okay, so you get to set the terms, I guess. Like, you get to set the terms on what Zionism is on your own, whatever, like in the most favorable ways possible. Which, by the way, if you want to understand what Zionism is, look at the genocide in Gaza, because that is what Zionism is. Liberal, ultra-nationalist, doesn't matter.
And even if that's not the
Ultimately, it is a
definition, that's what's
fascist
happening because of it.
exterminationist ideology. And it is unfolding in real time. Like, we're seeing the consequences of unrestrained Zionism in Gaza. Gaza is Zionism through and through. So the notion that like Jonathan Greenblatt tries to
But no, they
want to
shift the focus from these arbitrary terms, argue semantics,
in a very clever way. He is
for the
actually
sole
avoiding
purpose
talking
of
about those
distracting
atrocities
from the actual
because
issue,
he
which
can't do
is
that. He can't talk about those atrocities
our
and
tax
maintain
dollars
this, like,
are being
progressive
used
veneer as a
to bomb,
quote-unquote civil rights
maim,
advocate.
dismember,
But what it
and
reflects,
starve
it's a lunatic
like over
trying to burn
nearly
down
2
the
million
governor's mansion
Palestinians,
with his
maybe
family
more. Who
sleeping in it
knows?
because of his,
We
quote,
honestly don't even
position
know
in
how many
Palestine.
have died because they won't let
It
journalists in.
is,
That's so
again,
funny that he makes it seem like that guy was like a designated anti-Zionist. Bro, that dude literally thought the governor had kidnapped his daughters. Okay? That was the most like schizo dude you could point to. He doesn't want to say Elias, what was his name, Rodriguez, because that is an anti-Zionist that actually engaged in an act of violence against two people that work for the Israeli state, that work for the Israeli embassy, that work for the Israeli government, okay? That is an actual act of violence that is anti-Zionist, okay? You could just say that. Plenty of people think that is completely fucked up and completely unacceptable. But instead, he has to just like make insane inferences. He just can't help himself. He has to be like, yeah, that guy who was, that guy who literally was experiencing a fucking mental health crisis in broad daylight that told the cops that the governor of Pennsylvania was actually kidnapping his daughters. That guy was actually engaging in an act of anti-Zionist terrorism. Come on. Come on, dude.
Bombing elderly people because you want to, quote, end all Zionists.
In talking to
Wait, no.
Who's bombing
shit.
who?
He didn't bring up the one instance. That's interesting. I think part of the reason why these guys like shy away from talking about that is because they worry about copycats. I think that's what it is. Especially because like that did not get the same like widespread condemnation that they were expecting. To clarify, he was not a schizo dude in the colloquial sense. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was literally a diagnosed schizophrenic off his medication. Yes. I'm not like saying, oh, that dude was schizo. Like he was literally diagnosed medically as someone who was schizophrenic, who was very clearly
Anyone still on here with me?
An episode of
I'm just
paranoid
curious.
schizophrenia. He was hallucinating that the governor had kidnapped his daughters.
To people who are self-described anti-Zionists, starting with the idea that that is the way that they feel that everyone
Here you go, bro, with the schizophrenic shit. Wait, what? Dog, what are you talking about? What do you want me to do to in order not to come across as like even remotely ableist? You want me to just like lie and act like the dude was not someone who was off his medication?
Oh crap. My phone's about to die. Damn it. I got something else charging.
Yes. That person was medically diagnosed with schizophrenia and he was off his medication. That's what his immediate family said. And you can kind of make that inference regardless if you were to listen, like we did, to his 911 phone call.
Rights in Israel and Palestine and Palestinian territories, to then extrapolate that they are somehow connected to murder, arson,
I am not connecting those people, Lulu.
No, but
that's kind of a slide.
You actually are.
He is. You are. What do you mean? You just did. What the fuck, bro? That's crazy. That's crazy. He just did. And then she goes, why are you connecting this to like the overwhelmingly peaceful like pro-Palestinian demonstrations and whatnot? And he's like, oh, I'm not doing that. You are. That's your whole job.
Starting with the idea that that is the way that they feel that everyone should have rights in Israel and Palestine and Palestinian territories, to then extrapolate that they are somehow connected to...
For the record, none of this is new. These tactics are not new, okay? If you are tapped in to right-wing reactionary sentiment, as I am... Hello? Wait, hold on. 1 second.
Murder, arson,
I am not connecting those people, Lulu.
No, but
that's kind of
you
a
are.
sleight of hand and not
no,
fair.
but I'm really not trying to do a sleight of hand. I'm just trying to understand. You say that
He knows you're not doing a sleight of hand.
Leads to, that is the
He wants to distract the discussion.
Sort of end to this kind of belief.
So he's being disingenuous here, but I need you to understand something, okay? As someone who engages with fascist dialogue with regular frequency, okay? As someone who has to deal with right-wing reactionary, racist, white nationalist, white supremacist dialogue and counter that kind of propaganda, I have heard what Jonathan Greenblatt is doing here a million times over. I'll give you very quick examples, okay? Black Lives Matter starts. White racist people say, oh, all lives matter. Why not? When people say Black Lives Matter, I feel like you're saying white lives don't matter. That's your problem, dog. You just made that shit up, okay, to undermine BLM. That's number one. The example in that, the analog here is when people who want to support Israel, when Zionists say, oh, when people say from the river to the sea, Palestine would be free, that means you want to genocide the Jews. No, That's not what that means. You just made that up because you want to undermine advocacy for Palestinian emancipation. Okay? What Jonathan Greenblatt is doing here, connecting anti-Zionism to like two dudes that were off the rocker, okay, engaging in acts of violence, is no different than when, once again, right-wingers like at Fox News and all these other institutions actively were saying, oh, well, you know, look at how violent BLM is. Look at how violent BLM is. Like,
even though only
no,
like
dude, the movement was about
2% of BLM protests had any sort of violence at all.
And the disproportionate
And even then,
targeting
it wasn't from the
of
movement
black
itself.
communities. Okay, that's what it was about. That's always what it's been about. You can't just like point to extreme examples to be like, no, BLM means like sniping cops, as they tried to do over and over again. Okay, that's exactly what he's doing here, tying an entire peaceful movement, an entire progressive movement to extreme examples like this is identical to the way that racist white people on fucking Fox News and other organizations like on the right have actively tried to do against BLM. Oh, they burned down cities, they sniped cops. Like, that's what it is. That's exactly the same thing that he's doing right here. Okay? But he's doing that as a person who is responsible for a quote-unquote civil rights advocacy organization.
He's advocating against
And
a civil rights movement.
I think what people would say who
It's
might
freaking
hold
absurd.
those beliefs is that is a sort of exaggeration and sleight of hand, because they don't want the annihilation of Jews.
They might not want that.
Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, dude. Zionism is quite literally unfolding in Gaza. It is real genocide. Okay? That's it. That is the overwhelming majority of what Zionism has brought, which is the 80 plus years of occupation, but then even more significantly now, like the full-blown extermination campaign that's taking place in Gaza. But God forbid you marry these two concepts. You can't do that. That's anti-Semitic. Anti-Zionism, on the other hand, is not a movement that says, hey, please stop this. The Palestinians are human beings. But instead, it's actually the ethnic cleansing of all Jews. On the one hand, in defense of Zionism, you're just like saying, please refuse to address the elephant in the fucking room, the real death and the real carnage and the real genocide that's taking place, while simultaneously turning around and like trying to tie this otherwise like anti-war, pro-peace movement, pro-humanity movement to extreme examples that do not represent the overwhelming majority. Like, how are we supposed to exist in this world where Israel's actions that are broadly supported, like routinely supported by virtually the entirety of the Jewish demographic of Israel, okay, that is somehow not representative of Israel at all. That's not representative of Zionism at all, even though it's like literally the most base understanding of Zionism. But anti-Zionism, on the other hand, is supposed to be this hypothetical advocacy of the extermination of all Jews. Do not look at what Israel's doing in Gaza. That's not representative. Please look to what I'm saying is what anti-Zionism actually is. Get the fuck out of here. It doesn't work. It does not work at all. This is ridiculous.
They might not understand what it means. They might not be steeped in the context. They might not be familiar with all of the history.
And you're being disingenuous with what it means,
all
jackass.
I know is
No, they're not familiar with your version of the history, the one that is ahistorical. The notion that this is a land without people for a people without land. There were people there. And the early Zionists knew that very well. And they knew what must be done with those people to implement this project. Bullshit.
what I see every day. All I know is the thousands and thousands of people who contact us because they have been, as I've described already, targeted and victimized. Not because of what they believe, but because
Oh, like you mean deported?
And again, when you
Like the Palestinian
normalize
protesters?
language, like
Is that what you're talking about, guy?
you know, from the river to the sea, when you normalize language like globalize the Intifada, when you normalize language, like, again, Israel is a Nazi state, this create the conditions in which people feel not just
Well, if it
compelled,
walks like a
but
duck.
almost obligated, Lulu, to do horrible things. So I think ideas have consequences, and it starts with words. And what I am saying to you is, again, Zionism is one thing. The opposite of that is not some, well, look, let's have an ideal one state where everyone...
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that. Why can't we do that, Jonathan? Why? Just say it. Say it with your chest. Because Palestinians are fucking dogs, right? They're just like violent dogs, right? Yeah, they just can't coexist with Jews, right? That's what you want to say. Just say it. Just fucking say it, dude. Why are you so afraid to say it? I'm sure you say it behind closed doors. You're basically implying it every single time. Is he defending Israel being a Nazi state? Yes, of course. Israel is a Nazi state. If you defend Israel, you are defending a Nazi state. And it's not just like a theoretical Nazi state. It's a Nazi state that's currently doing a live streamed Holocaust. So this is like knowing exactly what the Nazis were doing during the Holocaust and defending it actively, okay? This is no different than Himmler, Goebbels, Hitler. It's the same shit. Those motherfuckers knew exactly what was going on in the concentration camps, and they were actively tasked with defending it.
I'm not talking about that. I'm focused here in America on the felt experience of Jewish people.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's shameless and also insanely, intensely anti-Semitic, ironically enough, okay? It is intensely anti-Semitic to put the feelings of American Jews that you, by the way, have made up, okay? It doesn't even like correspond to reality. Jews are not monolithic, obviously. No group is. But you're basically saying like, I am the top Jew and all of the Jews in America are feeling really worried about the ways in which people are recognizing Israel's Nazi behavior. Okay? That's fucking crazy. You're literally associating all Jews in America with Israel's Nazi project. That is unimaginably anti-Semitic.
You saw my colleague Ezra Klein's recent piece on divisions within the Jewish community, because this is not just an active debate outside of the Jewish community. These definitely...
Yeah, exactly. And it's also irrelevant. That's the other thing. It is so irrelevant. Like, not only is it anti-Semitic because you're basically fucking saying, like, you're basically saying, like, no, all Jews care about Israel doing a genocide, and, like, they get really scared when people say Israel's doing a genocide. Please don't, you know, please don't let people say Israel's doing a genocide, even though it is, because you'll hurt the feelings of Jews. Not only is it untrue, but even if it was true, it still would be irrelevant. You know what I mean? Even if Jews were a monolithic force, and they're not, but even if they were, and they were all like fucking predisposed with like Israel doing a genocide, it still would be utterly irrelevant in the grand scheme of things. Do you fucking think that genocide is appropriate or not is the actual question here. Okay? That's it.
And how they're interpreted are also very vigorously debated within the Jewish community.
Absolutely.
And in that piece, he argues that the war in Gaza and Israel's actions over the past year there have broken the consensus around the central place Israel has for American Jews. And there was this one line in the piece that really struck me about how we think about the idea of self-determination. And he writes, and I'm quoting here, "The question is not whether Israel has the right to exist, it is whether Israel has the right to dominate." Israel does exist, right? But the question is, does Israel have the right to dominate, which is what has caused so much consternation about
What
how
is he doing back there?
Israel
What?
exercises
Dude.
its right to exist.
Are you serious?
Yeah. This is a surprisingly good interview. This is from 2023, December 7th. Barry Weiss targeting Rafat for how his tweet on fake-baked babies made her feel versus Rafat actually being killed is the perfect encapsulation of this whole feelings debate in the West when an actual genocide is being committed. This was on December 7th, 2023.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to
Okay.
reload my game. This douche nugget got stuck.
I made something up to justify Israel's mass slaughter of Palestinians. A Palestinian that is watching his family get mass slaughtered made a joke about it. That made me feel bad. That made me feel small. That made me feel stupid. So I demanded that Israel take vengeance in my name. And Israel did. Israel killed Rafat and his entire family shortly after Barry Weiss put a target on his back. That is the real dynamic here, okay? That is the reason why when I speak to Palestinians in Gaza, for example, I have to weigh this. I have to weigh this, the fear that, like, I have to communicate with them off camera before I have them on to see, like, are you sure? Like, this is putting a target on your back, technically. You know what I mean? That's not a consideration that anyone should ever have to fucking weigh on. This is a real situation. Because any Palestinian in the Gaza Strip could be subject to murder from an unaccountable, violent Nazi state at any given moment for any reason. And no one in the Western world gives a fuck. That is the reality. It's so insane. Okay? It's so incredibly insane that is what's going on. And yet we still talk about, like, what Jonathan Greenblatt has decided is the feeling of Jews overall. You know, we have to place that. We have to weigh that. Here is anti-racist ADL-CO laments rising intermarriage rates among Jews.
Is it your sense that Jewish people are getting complacent, that they're not engaging to the degrees and levels we should be?
I have met a lot of October 8th Jews for whom the massacre on October 7th was a wake-up call. I've met a lot of people who feel much more galvanized, much more organized. But that will only be sustained if we offer them, ways to participate in a real and robust way in Jewish life.
Mm-hmm. And whose responsibility is that, in essence?
All of ours.
Yeah.
But, this is why we need a revolution in our community on so many levels. So, look, the reality is that intermarriage rates continue to go up. Assimilation continues apace.
This Nazi shit. What do you mean? It's just like, bro, this is what fucking white supremacists say, man. This is shit that white supremacists say, okay? How ironic that after a fucking century of Jews are doing the great replacement to taint the pure white race, now you got a Jewish dude literally saying that about Jews. What he's describing here is quite literally what neo-Nazis say about race mixing, about miscegenation. That is literally what he is saying. Why is that appropriate? The real issue here is that many young American Jews hear that and they go, what the fuck? I don't give a shit. I'm going to marry whoever the fuck I want. What are you talking about? That's what he's worried about. That's what many Zionists are worried about. It's crazy to me. It is crazy.
Look, I fight anti-Semitism. That is my job.
Right.
But I worry a great deal about broader questions of Jewish identity, as I think we talked about over lunch.
Just desert temples? No way.
Is it your sense that...
This is from August 8th. Yeah, from yesterday. I'm going to say he said the 14 words but Jewish, and he can still masquerade as a civil rights organization leader.
Jewish Jewish people are getting complacent, that they're not.
Yeah, but where would I put it? Because these are
She needs to be a farmer.
This is
But
why,
yet-
like, there is a sense of like honest jealousy in the framing of other prominent fascists like Richard Spencer, or even Tucker Carlson, or that Visegrad guy when he literally talked to Jonathan Greenblatt, being like, "Why can't white people do Israel shit that Israel's doing for the Jews?" Like when those guys are saying like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Like it, like you're the leader of the ADL, which plays a formative role in like tackling our white version of what Israel is doing.
Well, poop.
You won't let me do it. And I suspect the ADL is going to move in that direction now. They've already fired all of the people that were tasked with like the real civil rights advocacy. They've already fucking fired those guys, even though they have more support, more financial support than ever before post October 7. They fired every single person that was tasked with like combating racism and all these other
Well, poop.
forms of civil rights advocacy. 40 and wearing a chain. Yikes. Wait, what? If you're reading this, you're gay. Is this guy talking about? Oh, he is talking about me.
Shit,
Did
okay.
you see Jeff Nippert speak of the Palestinian bodybuilder? Yes, I did. I did, bruh.
What the
Nathan.
hell? Oh my god, of course.
I don't know. I didn't know there was an age limit to this sort of thing.
Like from the river to the sea. When you normalize language, like globalize the Intifada, when you normalize language, like again,
I gotta
Israel is a
pee.
The
Nazi
Arabic word for
state,
resistance
create
hurts
the
my
conditions in
feelings.
which people feel not just compelled, but almost obligated, Lulu, to do horrible things.
No, oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm Lulu Garcia Navarro, and this is The Interview. I covered the Middle East for a long time as a foreign correspondent, and I can safely say that this moment is a moment like no other in my memory. Here in the US, anti-Semitism and how it relates to criticism of Israel has become central to debates around free speech, immigration,
No one has a right to a student visa.
national security, and fundamentally what it means to feel safe and welcome in this country. One of the central figures in this debate is Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the Anti-Defamation League, or ADL. Founded more than 100 years
Apartheid
ago,
Defense
the ADL's
League.
stated mission is to, quote, stop the defamation of the Jewish people and to secure justice and fair treatment to all. Under Greenblatt's decade-long tenure, the ADL has tracked a precipitous rise in anti-Semitic incidents across the country.
There's
Which is
also
why
been
I
a
wanted to talk
rise
to Jonathan
in
Greenblatt about
anti-Palestinian
how he sees this
incidents.
moment.
Perhaps
Thank you
there's
so
just
much for
been an
joining the
overall
interview. I'm so
rise
glad
in
you're here
racist
today.
Thank you
bullshit.
so much for having me, Lulu.
I
Yeah.
want to start with a big question that I know you think about a lot, which is, what is the situation, in your estimation, for Jews in America right now?
I think this is a time of great concern for Jews all over the United States.
Oh my god.
You know, at ADL, we track anti-Semitism.
Yeah, I
we
mean,
measure
they'd be
attitudes,
fine if
we
they
also
weren't
track incidents,
bombing and starving
and
everyone.
we've never
5 different
really
countries
seen
in a
time
month,
like
like
this, at least
Jesus.
not in recent memory. So on the one hand, elevated
hell,
very
man?
intense anti-Semitic attitudes as a percent of the population have more than doubled in the last 5 years. And we also track incidents. What I can tell you is
Medium,
last
yay,
year,
medium.
2024, was the worst year we had ever recorded in terms of acts of harassment, vandalism, and violence directed at Jewish people or Jewish institutions. That was the 5th time in the last 6 years that we've broken a new record. And if I look back over the 10 years since I became ADL CEO, the number's up 10x where it was when I started on the job.
That's why I wanted to have you here today, because you...
Yeah. I wonder if she'll ask directly in this interview about the ADL's metrics for anti-Semitism that changed after October 7th. There was already a swing in the direction of like having this holistic approach to anti-Zionism as anti-Semitism.
Oh yeah, they
but it
added
accelerated
new
dramatically after
topics.
October 7, where like more than half of the anti-Semitic incidents were literally just like anti-Zionist demonstrations happening. Okay? Which, by the way, was absolutely elevated by the Biden administration and is part of the reason why the Donald Trump admin now can so easily act as though they are trying to tackle this fucking issue. This fake problem. Right-wingers love creating hysteria around a fake problem and then having to enforce some kind of regulatory and often violent way of intervening in solving this fake problem. Crime panic and crime hysteria surrounding migrants is a great example of this, is a great analog of this. Demonizing Israeli Jews. Okay, so of course the ADL counts tons of anti-Zionist activity as anti-Semitism. Putting that aside, he admits he's bad at his job. This was the 5th time in the last 6 years that we've broken a new record. He said that just now. Okay, demonizing Israeli Jews, of whom 79% are unconcerned with the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, is anti-Semitism. The second screenshot is from Haaretz. When it crosses the line, is not a criticism of Israeli policy per se, as he just said, but for example, the demonization of Israeli people. Okay, a vast majority of Israeli Jews, 79%, say they are not so troubled or not troubled at all by reports of famine and suffering among the Palestinian population in Gaza, according to a poll released yesterday. Let me explain something to you. Okay, you know what this is? We're all progressives in this space. We've all encountered a moment, either directly or we've seen it happen in out in the real world, where people do something racist, and then you call it out as racist, and then everybody gets mad at you for calling it out. Okay? That's literally what this is. It's like, oh, dude, what the fuck? You saying I'm racist is the real bullshit behavior. No, motherfucker, it's you thinking, it's you and your ass thinking that like the genocide in Gaza is appropriate. That is the real problem here. Okay? That's the real problem. Yeah, friendly reminder that anti-Zionism existed before there was a state of Israel to eliminate. Anti-Zionism is the belief that Jews do not have the right. It is an ideology which is committed to saying, we will do what we can to prevent Jewish self-determination in their homeland. Anti-Zionism is an ideology of nihilism, Lulu, which would literally seek to not just delegitimize, but eliminate the Jewish state. It's very problematic. I think the challenge is if someone defines their view of anti-Zionism in a way that allows for Jews to exist in the state of Israel but grants Palestinians rights, but you're seeing that as anti-Semitic people, people don't feel like they have the space to have a different view without being tagged with something that's pretty serious. And, of course, Jonathan responds with, I can appreciate that for some people. This idea is an abstraction. Oh, anti-Zionism, it means such and such to me. I get that. But let me tell you what anti-Zionism doesn't mean to me, but what it results in. It's a lunatic trying to burn down. We already saw that part. He's like, Zionism means to me something that, you shouldn't actually fucking directly attribute to the current ongoing genocide that Israel is doing, even though that is literally Zionism unfolding. But anti-Zionism, on the other hand, is also what I get to say it is, which is the most extreme hypotheticals, okay? or some of the most extreme examples. Other than Israel, give us an example where calling out racism is labeled as problematic. What do you mean? Among right-wingers, hello? What? Are you fucking dumb? Every right-winger, have you never been around like a Republican, dude? That's precisely my point. Israel is a fucking right-wing institution. It is a reactionary concept in and of itself. That's why it's identical to like a racist white Christian nationalist or whatever being like, oh, you're calling out this is racist. That's the real problem to me. That's it. That's it. They're doing the same exact shit. In which he shares the outrageous conspiracy theory that Students for Justice in Palestine knew about October 7 attack before it happened. That's also another crazy thing. This guy is literally off his fucking rocker. We didn't know exactly what had happened, who had perpetrated it, and yet SJP on the 8th already had their narrative pretty well developed. On CNN, Khalil publicly said anti-Semitism of any form or any form of racism has no place on campus and in this movement. And when asked, he wouldn't condemn Hamas at the same time in that same interview. Okay? He's like, still has smoke for Mahmoud Khalil. And of course, we already watched that interview on CNN where he was like saying, this is offering, because it's not about my political view about Hamas. They only want to hear yes or no. That's it. It's not about what I think about it. And this is being used to credit or discredit Palestinians. If I condemn Hamas, then I'm a Palestinian worthy of listening to. If I don't, then I'm not. And this is what Palestinians get angry with, this line of questioning. Because as I said, Palestinians are the ones that are now being starved and genocided. Because even if Hamas does not exist tomorrow, the Israeli occupation and supremacy would continue against the Palestinians. So it's not about Hamas, which is true. Like, Hamas is irrelevant. Okay? If the conversation is supposed to be about Israel's genocide, then any kind of fucking violent resistance or any kind of violent militancy against said genocide is utterly irrelevant and inconsequential in this conversation. It's ridiculous. It's like saying, do you condemn the Jewish partisans during the Holocaust? Do you condemn any kind of resistance movement during the Holocaust? It's fucking a ridiculous question to ask. And yet it is so normalized in our modern day discourse that it is the only question, it's the only game in town that you have to answer before you can ever make any fucking statements. I've said this over and over again. You don't have to fucking love Hamas. It doesn't matter. You don't have to love Hamas to hate Israel. You hate Israel because Israel is doing a genocide. You hate Israel because Israel is built on the notion of Jewish supremacy and ethnic cleansing of non-Jews in the region. That's it. It's actually crazy to still have smoke for Khalil after he was jailed for months for having an opinion and being a peace activist, whichever side he shouldn't even matter. This is Nazi shit, and Jonathan is supporting the Nazi shit. Disgusting. Yeah, 100%. It's just like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous question, okay? The only people who I always say have to fucking wear the Hamas banner are people who have actively defended this genocide until recently and only made a change of attitude now. Those people have to. Those people have to ride for Hamas to make up for the fucking initial genocide defense that they engaged in. If they want, if they actually want to be welcome, they have to be fucking wearing the the specific Al-Aqsa flood banner too. Like, not even just like the Al-Qassam brigades. Sorry, I don't make the rules, you know? You have to make up for what you did, which is, once again, far worse than October 7, like 1,000,000 times worse than October 7. And yet it's in broader mainstream discourse, even among people who are like anti-Israel or pro-Palestinian, like pro-Palestinian, like they don't even fucking see that. They don't see it as such. Like, to me, I made this point a year ago where it's like someone wearing an IDF shirt is far worse than someone fucking wearing a Hamas headband, bro. Like, what are we talking about? The IDF is a far more violent force. Like, even before October 7, the IDF was a far more violent force than Hamas. Always. Like, what are we talking about? Even the maintenance of the illegal occupation in the West Bank alone is so much worse and so much more violence and so normalized in comparison to October 7. It's not even a fucking question. If you see Palestinians as human beings, it's not even a fucking question. You don't have to love Hamas or anything, okay? But you have to be fucking real about it. One of the things that actually pisses off a lot of people is when I openly say this. Like, whenever I tweet, like, you know, Israel is a far worse, and the IDF is a far worse force that has done far more violence than Hamas ever could, a far more evil entity and organization than Hamas ever could be. People get so mad. They yell at me. They call me a terrorist. But you know what they can't call me? A fucking liar, because it is the truth. Yeah. This is Gaza in 1994 when Israel soldiers were wandering the streets in Gaza, assaulting and bullying men, women, and children. No accountability ever. Israel had been occupying Gaza for 27 years by the time of this footage. Hamas was barely 7 years old. Its fighters probably had no more than a few dozen guns between them. You know? That's it. That's it. So all of the a conversation about Hamas amongst the Palestinian population is a necessary one, right? For sure. Like, whether they want to be governed by Hamas or not, that's up to them. But that's not a conversation that is worth having in the Western world, especially when Israel's the one doing the fucking genocide. Like, it's just it's a irrelevant and deliberately unproductive conversation to consistently go back to, because people don't want to speak about the actual things that are taking place right now, the actual violence, the actual atrocity, the actual genocide that's taking place. So they just go, but Hamas, but Hamas, but Hamas. The constant fucking vilification of any sort of Palestinian resistance is a necessity. You have to talk about that, because every moment that you spend talking about that, you're not talking about what Israel's doing, okay? You're not talking about the real problem here. That's it. And Israel defenders know this. That's why the terrorism designation is so important. Okay? The but Hamas conversations are so important. That's why you can you can use that and consistently obfuscate all of Israel's violence. You can consistently shelter Israel's genocide by offering it some semblance of permission to be like, well, Hamas is there. You know, they know that. That's why they use it all the time. That's why Jonathan Greenblatt is using it here. You know? One concern that I've heard referring to the State Department officials say about the actions of this administration is that this government might be using anti-Semitism selectively to screen people with whom it might be ideologically opposed. Well, obviously, that would be a problem. Would it be a problem, Jonathan? I don't think anti-Semitism should be used as a political football by elected officials from either side. And so to the extent that the Trump administration or any other admin would use it as a pretext to go after people who they don't like or with whom they don't agree with on a broader set of issues, clearly I wouldn't agree with that, except you do agree with that. I mean, I've been fucking targeted with this. You know what I mean? It's fucking so stupid. Having heard the word genocide is viewed when used against the Israeli state as basically an attack on Israel's existence itself, I just wonder if you view it that way or if you don't. Well, again, I don't begrudge David. I do think what's happening in Gaza is terrible, catastrophic situation. I don't think it's a genocide because that's a legal definition, which means an intentional effort. I don't have a... Come in. Why? Oh, they did. Fuck. Hold on. I don't know. All right. March is here. He's going to set up while I continue talking about this. And then we should probably pack this stuff up. But I don't know. Should we bring it everywhere we go today? And then bring it back here and then come back here and then go to the airport? Yeah, okay. We'll do that. Yeah. Oh, shit. We got like similar pants on. What are those pants? What? They're a song for the mute? Fuck. Those are fire. I'm going to get those pants. You fucked up.
You want me to? I can't.
No. I'm saying set the IRL. No. Set the IRL backpack up. Oh, yeah. And then... Yeah. And then we'll do the other thing. Having heard the word genocide is viewed when against the Israeli state is basically an attack on Israel. Yeah, he says, oh, I can't speak on a genocide. I have it here. It's a UN legal... Oh, shit. She pulled it out? Wait, hold up. I got to find this moment. Do we know exactly at what point she brings that up? I need to see this on video because this is a transcription of the interview. God damn, you can't pull up the transcript for some reason. I don't know why.
Jews being
erupts extremist threats.
Transcript is in the description.
I don't want to belabor the point. I just think it's slightly different.
Oh.
What you're talking about, what actually happened on campuses, and the accusation of material support for terrorism. Those are slightly two different things.
So look, on March 5th, at the takeover of the Barnard Library right here in New York City, Quad, which is the SJP, they banned the SJP chapter at Columbia for its behavior, and the students immediately reconstituted it as Quad. That's what they call it. And those students literally...
Here.
Because that's a legal definition, which means an intentional effort and I don't have the dictionary in front
I
of
have
me.
it here.
But
It
an
says,
intentional. Okay, what does it
I mean,
say?
it's a UN, right? We should say it's a legal definition. And it says any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group.
Bro, that's literally like Israel looked at that and was like, bet. Okay. Israel was like, oh, I didn't. Were you reading out the checklist of what we were supposed to do? Because it kind of seems like it's perfectly valid when we do it bar for bar, verbatim. What we're doing is kind of crazy that you, but Hamas. Like, what's the fucking reasonable, supposedly progressive defense of this? You got nothing. You just have but Hamas. That's all you got. All you can do is condom hummus, October 7, condom hummus. That's all you got. You got nothing else.
Well, so in fairness, I don't have that definition.
What? Oh, I was gonna. Okay. Oh no, you do that after. Do after because you're gonna have to leave and come back anyway.
In front of me, right? And I haven't read it like you have before this. But what I'll simply say is that I don't believe the Israeli government is committing genocide. I don't think they're intentionally trying to destroy or annihilate a group of people. I do think this is a war that was started by Hamas. I do think Hamas has made the decision to black market and hoard the aid that comes in. The Hamas government has chosen to build tunnels below, not to create protective structures above.
But Hamas.
So we could ask ourselves.
Just as I thought. But Hamas. How fucking convenient, dude. Didn't realize that you got that ace under your sleeve, you know? Had no idea you were gonna hit the but Hamas trap card. Shocking. Shocking. It's interesting because that's like it seems like that's the only fucking line of supposed defense that these guys have. Interesting.
Questions about who is really bringing the catastrophe to the Gazan people. But look, at the end of the
How is there any daylight between you and Benjamin Netanyahu? This is what it is. When Zionism is at its final project stage, okay, the final solution for the Palestinians, there is very little daylight between the liberal Zionists and the ultra Zionists, okay, because ultimately they are tasked with defending Israel. And if Israel is doing a genocide, you have one of two options. You either look at that and go, all my life, I've been deluded into thinking that this was actually something that was good. This was a project for good. This was Jewish self-determination. I was wrong. This is what it was always about. And I find this to be utterly unconscionable as a Jew, especially given the historic significance of genocide towards Jewish people in Jewish history. I'm out. You either do that, and many Jews have done that,